Hi everybody, today I'm going to talk about how to prepare your skiller, or if you don't have a skiller, your normal horses for Grand Prix, and if you also want to do Rosette competitions. Okay, now I've got a skiller here that isn't in an EC, and it also doesn't have the fallabella or the grease bonuses that I talked about in my skilling video. And if you want to know what a skiller is and how to skill, that video is on my channel and you can check it out. But I'm going to be talking about how to actually, once it's done, how to then prepare it for the Grand Prix or Rosettes. So I'm going to go back to actually the skiller that I used in that last video. So this skiller here, if I go to the bonuses, it's got the tub of grease and it's got the fallabella. Now in that other video I've mentioned how the tub of grease and the fallabella bonus are bonuses that are time based, so they disappear after a few days, and that's usually 4 times that you wake it up. So if you have a water of youth on your skiller, it's obviously going to mean 4 months. So I'm now going to show you, I have this other skiller which doesn't have it, so how am I going to get them? Right, one of the first things is this horse isn't in an equestrian centre, and you want to have the best possible EC bonus, which is a +10, +10, +10. So I'm going to register my horse in an equestrian centre. Now if I didn't know, you can't tell from just looking like here if it has a +10, so what you can do is actually click on this equestrian centre page, go to the equestrian centre, and then have a look on the actual bonus on one of the horses in the AC, and you can see this is a +9 centre. Another thing you can actually use to tell is it should be a +6, a +4, and a +3. Now, I prefer to actually look at the horses in the centre just to be 100% sure. So I'm going to go back because now I know that that one doesn't have a +10, so I'm going to open 2 more to see if any of them do. So that one's a +8, and this other one is +8. So not always are you going to be able to get a +10, but go for the best you can possibly get. So right now that's going to be a +9 for this skiller, because this particular one that I'm showing you right now, this is quite an old skiller. So for my other skiller that I used in the other video, I was able to get a +10 because it meets the skill criteria to board in that EC. EC owners will usually move that up as the horses on the server increase in skill. So, you know, you're not going to be able to get a +10 EC for your foundation. Be quite surprised if you do. If you do, great, but I think I'd have a hard time doing that. So we'll go back to the blue cloud one that we were looking at. So now it's got the +9 bonus for the equestrian centre. So the next thing is we need to know, right, okay, how do we get this fallabella bonus? So first off, if you own fallabella, you can get the fallabella bonus. If you don't own fallabellas, you can't. And fallabellas are these little guys here. Doesn't matter what colour they are, doesn't matter which one they are, as long as you've got one, you have a chance of getting the fallabella bonus. So I'm just going to click on one of them. And if you go down to the question mark, it will tell you a player that owns one has a 1 chance in 100 of finding the bonus whenever they register one of their horses in a competition. So the more fallabellas you have, basically, the more. So if you had 20 fallabellas, then you've 20 in 100 chance of finding a fallabella on your horse when you enter competition. So I've got those, so that means, okay, I can find the bonus. So the next thing I'd want to check is, okay, well, what competition am I going in? You know, if you're going into the Grand Prix, you're obviously going to click on the Grand Prix here and see what one's on today. So this is trot racing today. So what means that I want to get a trot fallabella. So that means I want to go into trot competitions. And I want to enter trot competitions until I find the fallabella. So as you can see, we haven't got it. And you just keep doing this until the fallabella appears. But remember, you have to have a fallabella, obviously, on your account. So there we go. A fallabella has just earned blue cloud, a bonus for several days. So there, we've got the trot fallabella because we entered a trot competition. If I'd been entering jumping competitions and that just popped up, that means I would have got it in jumping. And it's the same for Western. If you earn it in a cutting, it's a cutting falla. and it doesn't actually tell you that. So, you know, you can, if you want, maybe to write down, you know, get the fallabella in every single different competition and write them down so you have a list and you know exactly, and then you'll be able to check. So there I've got the fallabella now, and the next thing that I'm going to want is the tub of grease, which is, we want to get the tub of grease before the fallabella disappears. That's one of the key things. So put it in for 10 hours, and we've been lucky enough to get it. If you have a Curious Fortune, which is this, that gives you more of a chance of finding them. So if you put that on your horse, that means you're more likely to find the grease and you're more likely to find the fallabella, but it's completely chance-based. There's like no yes or definitely, you know. You might never find it, that's the thing, but you usually will find it eventually. So now that we've got the horse, it's got its grease, it's got its fallabella, and everything else that we want on it, then we would go and enter the Grand Prix. So we'll go into the Grand Prix now and we'll register. Yeah, okay. My horse needs to go to bed first. So luckily we haven't aged the horse so far that it's going to lose, you know, it's going to lose the fallabella. So always check, you know, go and check your bonuses before you go to enter anything. So still got the total grease, still got the fallabella. So we'll enter now the Grand Prix and register. So that's that horse registered, and it will tell you it's participated there. So that's how you prepare to go into the Grand Prix. You make sure you got your grease, and if you have the, you know, if you do have a fallabella, make sure you've got your fallabella bonus. It's giving you the best chance. It's very unlikely that anybody without the fallabella can win the Grand Prix, because when so many players are entering with such really top horses and they've all got fallabellas, it's very, very difficult to win it without it. So you might have to spend a lot of time and effort saving up to get one, or maybe you're lucky enough to win one in a hopper, you know, a promo. So there's a couple of different ways you can win them. But usually you can buy them in sales, and it will differ server to server. So you just got to keep your eyes open for them. So that's that done. The next thing I'm going to explain is rosettes. A couple of people have been asking me how to get rosettes. Well, first off, rosettes can only be earned in competitions that have over 75% prestige. Right, well, what's that? I'm going to explain that now. If you go down to community and you go down to game help, and it's in section 3 of the breeder's manual, so preparing your horse for competitions, and we'll click on rosettes. So winning certain competitions with over 75 prestige or higher. So this means that if you go into a competition that's over 75%, you've got a chance to get in the rosette. You can only win a rosette in that particular competition once. So say, for instance, there's a competition called, you know, Trot to Win, and you enter and it's got a rosette. If you win that competition, if you went to enter it the next day, the rosette would be gone. You can't get it again. So you can only ever get the rosette for a particular competition once. So you might be saying, right, okay, I know that I have to get into competitions with over 75% prestige, but how do I know which competitions have over 75% and what horses I would need to enter those? Right, well, what you can do then is you can go to ranking and you can go to the question centres. And this is the button you're looking for here. See the rankings for the best competitions. So you want to click on that, and then you can see, this is the classical competitions, and you can also switch over to the Western, whichever is your preference. Now, as you can see here, prestige, this is the thing that you're looking for here, and you know, it's displayed on all the different ones, as you can see, and it's the exact same for Western. So if we just, for example, if we have a look here, if I just highlight all the competitions here that are over 75% prestige, these are all the competitions right now that could win your horse a rosette. Okay? So there we go, we've got those many, and all the ones underneath that have less than 75% can't yet. They might be able to in future, but they can't right now. Now it'll be different on different servers, so you want to check that. Some servers have more rosettes than others, based on the competition prestige. So I'll go into Western competitions, for example, and we'll go to barrel here, and there's only 2 currently with over 75%, so there's only those 2 races you can get rosettes. You might be now wondering, right, well, if I want to win rosettes, you know, if I wanted to win 50 rosettes, for example, if you had that target that I want to win 50 rosettes on one horse, then what you'd want to do is you want to have a look and see what competitions currently have a huge amount of ability to win rosettes. So, for we just look at show jumping here, you can see if I go to scroll down, it's taking a very, very long time to find anything underneath 75%. So we've gone past the 100 competitions mark and we can still see more. So this means there is a huge amount of competitions. So if I just go, there we go, there's 142 competitions that are above the threshold. So there's, if you wanted to get a really, really good horse at, at show jumping and go and get loads of rosettes. Now it will be different for servers, so it might be a case that cutting's really good, or it might be a case that barrel's really good. There's no point in getting, if you're aiming to get a lot of rosettes, there's no point in getting a skiller that has a really high particular skill, but there's no competitions with, rosettes, because they're not high enough. So then you might be saying, right, okay, well now I know that there's maybe 100 competitions that I could enter. Well then, okay, how do I know how many skills I need with my horse? So what you do is you go on the competition, you click on it. So I'm just going to click on the top one here. And it will tell you here, it will say level required, and it will tell you between, and this is 532.6 and below 165.2 in jumping. So that means if you have a horse in that range of jumping skills, so if you had a horse that had 530, for example, skills in jumping, wouldn't be able to see this competition, and therefore wouldn't be able to enter it. So I'm going to go back to this skiller here, and hopefully I'm just going to check. I have tub of grease and I also have the fallabella. So I'm going to go into jumping here and have a look. Now, as you can see, here's some of the competitions that I can currently enter. So, and they have the rosette displayed, so I can click participate. But, I need to put my horse to bed first. So, put my horse to bed. And because the bonus is based on time, I'm just going to check that it's still there. So yeah, the tub of grease is still there, and so is the fallabella. So we'll go back into show jumping and we'll participate. And we'll participate in some of the other ones as well that are currently there. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you've already won, some of these other competitions actually do have rosettes, but because the horse has already won them, it can't get them again. So I think I've just got one rosette more than I had before, so you will have to take time and, probably enter a few days in a row to get more and more rosettes, but that's really how you want to think about it. You want to go, right, okay, what competitions have lots of rosettes, and you want to think, right, what skiller do I need, and how many skills does it need in that particular skill to see them to start off with, because there's no point in getting a skiller that's great in cross country, for example, and you want to go for jumping rosettes, because you might not be able to see it because it might not have enough skills in jumping. It might have loads in stamina, for example. So you just want to be aware of how that's going to affect it. So the other thing to bear in mind, as I did whenever I was entering the other skiller a couple of minutes ago, you want to check which fallabella you need and which competitions you're going in. So there's no point in going into a competition with the wrong type of fallabella. You want to try and make sure you get the right fallabella. And there are occasions where you run out of competitions, maybe not on bigger servers, but some of those smaller ones, sometimes you're just unlucky and there's not enough. So sometimes it's good to do it a couple of days in advance so you have plenty of time to get your fallabella, and then just not age it until you're ready to enter. So don't really think there's much else I can add in regards to that. I hope this was helpful, and good luck. Hope you've had a nice day.